school with my brother-in-law, right?
I did.
Perhaps.
Yep.
Yeah. So Krista has pretty extensive background, and she's a certified integrative health coach. She's also a coach of digestive conditions. She's a Reiki master, and she's taken all of her expertise and found a new journey working for corporate health and fitness right down the street from my home, about a half a mile as the crow flies. And now she's using all her talents to help develop programs for companies, and also to not only help develop the programs, but perform the programs as well. So Krista, great to have you on, and gonna let you take over.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Mike. So I am always so happy when I'm asked to do a presentation on health, because I'm blessed to be able to work in an industry that I just love and have loved forever. So the other thing, just to add to a little bit of background, when it comes to health of any kind, physical, mental, it's important that the two join together. So my undergrad degree is in psychology, along with human biology. And I also have a certification as a registered yoga teacher. So just real quick about corporate fitness and health. We design wellness programs for companies, and we execute them all over the United States. So we travel from East Coast to West Coast, North to South. And we deliver presentations and biometric screenings. And our whole world changed when COVID hit. We love face-to-face, and we are now doing everything virtual, which is great. We are able to do that. We're actually getting more participation because it's easier for most people with flexibility. And we are beginning our travel. I begin my screenings next week, which is pretty exciting, and at the same time a little scary because it's different, you know, all of this protective gear we have to use and stuff. So anyway, just to add a little to the conversation earlier. So is Mary Ellen or Tina, is there a way I can share my screen? Yeah, okay.
Yep. I think, can you just go to the bottom? Do you see the share screen?
It just says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Mary Ellen, you got to go to the same place and then just say to participants allow.
Got it.
Okay, perfect. All right, so can everybody see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let me just, okay. So this is one of the presentations that is pretty popular right now with companies, because trying to work on stress management at such a critical time and be able to know what our resilience is super important. So I'm just going to take you through some slides, and I know, what time is it now? What time do you want me to finish, Mary Ellen?
Usually we have a 10 or 15 minutes and then
okay.
Q&A.
Okay, perfect. So what you'll get today is a little bit of scientific understanding of stress and how it works in our bodies. I'm a big lover of science, and so I always like to put science behind any kind of work that I do. And I'll also give you some great tips to be able to create a stress relieving environment at work and at home. So I'm going to take you through, it's pretty interactive. So the other thing is, if there's any questions, just stop me, just unmute yourself and ask the question during the presentation. You don't really have to wait until the end, although you can. So either way is fine. All right, so we're going to get started. So the emotional regulation system is something that has been brought to our attention by a clinical psychologist. His name is Paul Gilbert, and he's from the UK, and he studies evolutionary psychology. He's best known for his compassion-focused therapy. And what I love about his explanation is it tells us how the brain works when we're stressed and when we are in balance. So there are three systems. Right now, we tend to work in the threat system. And this is because of all of the changes. And especially a couple of months ago, when this all came down, at least we're getting a little more familiar with some of what's happening, even though there's still a lot of unknown. So the threat system really, it's a source of detection and protection. It tells you to better be safe than sorry. We were talking a little earlier And I know Chris was sharing, some people who are fearful right now and some people who are not. The amygdala in the brain is responsible for adrenaline and cortisol, which are our stress hormones. And they are responsible for how we feel and are especially prominent when we feel that we are better safe than sorry, which is in the threat system. And then we also have what we call the drive system, and this can go back and forth between threat and drive. It motivates us towards resources. It's located in the nucleus accumbens in the brain, and it's responsible for dopamine. And dopamine is a feel-good hormone. It helps us to relax a little bit. It also motivates us to want to take walks early in the morning or anytime during the day, staying active, running, exercise, volunteering, like all of that is, and working is responsible, the drive system is responsible for that. So feelings of wanting, pursuing, achieving, progressing, and feeling focused. And then we have the soothing system, and all three of these work together. So they can go back and forth. You can go from threat to soothing or threat to drive to soothing, and it can just go back and forth. And the soothing system is responsible for feeling content and safe and cared for. And in the prefrontal cortex of the brain that produces opiates and oxytocin is what is responsible for the soothing system. Okay, so this is just a good understanding of the science behind how our feelings work, which are produced from our nervous system. So stress, physical, chemical, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension. And it can be a factor in disease. And a lot of people they really don't put value to this. And this is super important. When we are stressed, it affects our liver and many other organs in the body, our heart. I always call the liver the king and the heart is the queen. And the liver is responsible for more than 500 metabolic functions in the body, and especially for being able to process hormones, all kinds of hormones. So the negative effects of stress can be nutrient deficiencies. People don't realize, when you say I'm stressed and my belly hurts or my digestive is off, it's because of the hormones. It's not all in your head. It's because of how these hormones are working between the threat, the motivation, and the comfort system. And it can affect our nutrient absorption. It can also affect gut flora. It can reduce the good bacteria, leaving room to increase the bad bacteria in our gut, causing many gut issues, digestive issues. Increased levels of cortisol, which can inhibit weight loss. So for many people who come to us and say, hey, I've done everything. Why am I not losing weight? We always go to, let's talk about your stress levels, because stress hormones tell the liver to store fat no matter what's going on in the body. So there are answers to why people can live a really healthy life and still have a hard time losing weight. And lowering metabolism and increasing fat storage. Increased oxidative stress, which causes premature aging. So symptoms of chronic stress can be blood pressure, high and low, but typically high, food cravings and weight changes, energy, which can be one of two things, either unable to stop, high energy where you go on and on and on, or feeling completely exhausted, and going between the two. So really, stress can affect sleep and energy, emotions, your coping ability, thinking. So, people who feel foggy or have fuzzy thinking, and ability to stay focused. This is why it's so important. We work in the corporate world and in the business world, because these kind of things can affect our efficiency at work. And we want to be good at what we do. And owners of businesses want their employees to be the best and bring the best to the table. When we're thinking foggy and we're not focused and can't complete a task, it can really affect the bottom line with work. Immune response, frequent infections. It can take longer to recover from an infection. And again, this can affect the corporate environment. Sleep, inability to fall asleep or to be able to stay asleep, waking up feeling completely tired. And then paying attention to hormones, it can affect our libido for both men and women. So the risks of stress, the long-term activation of the stress response system and the subsequent overexposure to cortisol and other stress hormones can disrupt almost all of your body processes. So meditation and sleep are two really great tools that can help. So we're going to talk about that later in the program. But these are the things that meditation and healthy sleep can help support. Okay, so when you're using meditation on a daily basis and you're getting better sleep, it can support your immune system. It can help with anxiety and depression issues. It can help with digestive problems, heart disease, sleep issues, weight loss, memory and concentration impairment. So because we are in such an extreme time with so many things happening in the world, it's not just COVID, it's everything that's happening right now in the United States, but throughout the world. I like this slide because many of us in business and who are really living in that motivation system and that drive system have to kind of reset what's happening in our bodies so that we don't go into threat. So now is not the time for pushing yourself beyond your limits, because we all have new limits. And when you push yourself beyond, it can help us, it can make us sick. Perfectionism is another thing. I don't know about you, but I am a recovering perfectionist. Perfectionism brings on a lot of stress in our life. And most of us who love what we do tend to be perfectionists. So, now is not the time for pushing and being perfect. It's not the time for martyring or self-judgment, self-abuse, or negative self-talk. Because the reality is everything that's going on right now really is enough. You fundamentally and foundationally, you are enough. You have enough. Right now in this very moment, you're okay. I know thinking within the 24 hours, living within 5 minutes at a time sometimes, just to remind ourselves that right now in this very moment, we are okay without thinking about what the future is going to bring and what the past has brought. So this 24 hours is so important. I love this hashtag me first, because it is a time right now for men, women, everyone to put themselves first. We have to figure out what we're comfortable with. Again, going back to our conversation early this morning with Chris, and people have to do what's comfortable for them. They have to come first. My boss is telling us if we want to go out and do screenings, we can. If we don't feel comfortable, we don't have to, right? So being able to have that ability to make the best choice for us versus people pleasing, which can come along with perfectionism. So we have to be careful with that. Self-care has never been more important. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, but it is important to remember, what are you putting in your body? What kind of fuel are you fueling yourself with right now? Processed foods can be heavy and they can cause a lot of stress in the digestive system and cause stress hormones to be produced in the body more so than usual. Making sure that you're eating all 3 meals, that you're not skipping meals. Hydration is key. I keep my water with me all the time, even at home and at my desk. And easing up on the caffeine, which I'm guilty of this. So caffeine is something that really triggers our adrenal glands, adrenaline and cortisol. We think it gives us energy, but what it really does is makes us a little nervous and causes that threat and motivation system to kick in. So watching the caffeine. Healthy fats, omega-3s, your brain material is made of fat. It needs fat. Fat doesn't make us fat. Sugar is what makes us fat, right? So just remembering to get some good fats into our diet. Fruits and veggies, protein, healthy grains, eating the rainbow, anything pre-digested is great when you're nervous. So having smoothies, soups, things that are already digested before they go into your mouth so that your digestive system doesn't have to be strained. I loved this. I found this on Instagram. And this is a self-care menu, and I think we should all have one. We should all have a self-care daily menu where it reminds us what to do for the day and the simple things. Taking a few deep breaths, taking time to stretch your body, listening to your favorite music, meditating on your purpose, reading a chapter of a book, journaling your thoughts, taking a walk outside, using your creativity, getting crafty, whatever that means to you. You don't have to be an artist to be crafty. I tend to craft with my garden, and I tend to craft with food. So, you know, having a self-care menu is a good thing to do. All right. So tips for success right now. Excuse me. Having a healthy connection with people. I don't know about you. I am an extrovert, like to the core. I miss being in groups. I miss handshakes and hugs, being with my people. I also have an 88-year-old mother-in-law who suffers with a lot of health issues, and I have to be careful. I have to be really careful. So every time I want to gather in groups, I have to remind myself that I have to be really careful because we are her caretaker. So meaning that we have to deliver things to her, and we have to have access to her, bring her to appointments and stuff. So we just have to be careful right now. FaceTiming has been awesome. You know, being able to use Zoom has been great to be able to keep the connections. Even with my work, we're all working remotely, but we have weekly meetings where we can see each other and talk to each other, and that feels good. Being able to reach out to family too and seeing them on the screen, and friends. And if you have anyone who is elderly or in some sort of rehab facility for any reason, being able to see them on the screen is supportive for both you and them. So online support groups too, those are great. A lot of people have support groups. For example, any kind of 12-step program right now, a lot of online support groups. There are also online support groups for diet, nutrition, anxiety, depression. So just remembering that there is support out there. Effective tips for balancing stress. I always start with exercise because exercise is what can produce the dopamine in our system, and oxytocin, like all of those great feel-good hormones. And so many times people think that with exercise, Lori, I don't think you're muted. So anytime we work with exercise, I think many of us think that we have to go to the gym, that we have to do 45 minutes or an hour at a time, which is great if you can afford that. But I want to remind everyone that 10 minutes at a time can be so helpful. So if you want to exercise for 30 minutes in a day, you don't have to do all 30 at once. You can take a walk for 10 minutes. You can lift weights for 10 minutes. You can hula hoop for 10 minutes. And I'm saying hula hoop because I just bought one and I have one out on my deck. I'm pointing to it. You know, something fun and something that can bring in exercise and movement. So many of us are just sitting all day, and it's not good for our mental well-being or our physical well-being. So just being aware of your movements is going to be super important, taking those breaks. This is one of my favorite slides because I don't know about you, but I miss my massages. I get monthly massages and I do them for all kinds of reasons, mainly my migraines. They're super helpful with preventing migraines. But I also know that I can create, even though I can't get a massage, I can't give myself the type of massage. We're going to get into another slide where I'm going to show you how to give yourself a massage. But we can't get the same kind of massage by self-massage. We can still do things that help to create a spa-like environment that can help to calm down that threat system. So taking time for resting, you know, if you're going to take a little nap or reading, walking, journaling, having an art or a hobby or using your talents during the day can obviously give you a nice break. Creating spa-like environment, I love this one. Putting a towel, a moist towel in a microwave and just heating it up for a little while. And midday, maybe after lunch, but for me, midday, I heat it up and then I just put the wet towel around my neck. I always have to make sure, you know, that it's not too hot. You don't want to burn yourself, but it can really help. And I put essential oils on those towels so that I get eucalyptus or lemon. And then, you know, anything luxurious regarding hands because we're washing them constantly. So all those presents that we get that we tend to tuck away and think, well, maybe someday, or I'm going to save it for something, pull them out now and start using them. Lotions, soaps, sugar scrubs, creams, anything that we feel is luxurious. Candles, just simply lighting a candle, diffusing essential oils, spa-like music, relaxation can help in the home. Meditation, which I'm going to take you through some breath work in a minute. And using your imagination. Imagination is so important. I'm gonna check the chat. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right, Lori. It is, that hot towel is amazing. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide here. This is my second favorite slide. So this slide teaches you how you can give yourself a massage, starting with your head. So I do this easily during the day. Anyone who suffers from tension headaches or migraine headaches, this is the best. So just taking your hands and putting them right up to your scalp. And there are 2 points at the base of your skull that you can take your thumbs and really just put a little bit of pressure. And then massaging your scalp can feel so relaxing. And you can do this anytime. These are just free little tips that you can do during the day. Taking your hands and giving yourself a massage on your shoulders, especially the way we are sitting lately, can be super helpful. Rubbing your temples, taking 2 fingers and putting pressure in your nasal area right by your eyes. I don't know if you have a tennis ball, or I love these yoga tune-up balls that are made for hitting pressure points. But just taking one behind your shoulders, like in between the clavicles, and leaning up against a wall and rolling back and forth can give you a nice upper shoulder body massage. You can also do the same for your hips and for your glutes and your lower back area. Just placing that same ball. Yoga tune-up balls come in 2. You can buy them really anywhere. Target, yoga studios, but they come in 2 and they come in this mesh. So this is a great thing too, that you can use double balls to be able to do the massage. Giving yourself a hand massage and a foot massage, whether you do it with pressure points or you use the ball underneath your hand and just roll back and forth on the table is helpful. Doing the feet is incredibly helpful. You have to be careful when you're standing though, because you can put a lot of pressure on the feet, and the feet hold us all day long. We don't give them enough attention. So rubbing them with lotion is awesome. And then rolling with a ball can be awesome. I prefer to sit when I do my feet because standing again can bring on a lot of pressure. So just take care of yourself, be careful. All right, and promoting sleep. So these are, how many people here, just raise your hand if you have any issues with sleep, if I can see you. Anybody have issues with sleep? Okay, so most people are saying no. All right, so we have millions of Americans who have sleep issues. Okay, and some people are saying yes. So millions of Americans have sleep issues, so you're not alone. Promoting sleep is so, so important for all of your health. Everything, mental health, physical health, boosting an immune system, being able to think properly. When we lose sleep, we lose perspective on things. So it's hard to balance, it's hard to make decisions. Sleep is critical. So no caffeine afternoon, chamomile and herbal tea before bed is best. There is, you can look this up on the internet, there are recipes for golden milk, which can help with reducing inflammation and allowing sleep and relaxation. Essential oils can help. Lavender is an excellent one for sleep, applying on the base of the feet, which is the most porous part of your body, right before bed can help, not only help you fall asleep, but also help you stay asleep. Having an earlier, lighter supper instead of a big, heavy dinner at the end of the day. Taking a bath. Most people don't use their bathtubs anymore. So I say even doing a foot soak, taking just a plastic bucket and putting Epsom salts, which contain magnesium, and most of us are magnesium deficient. So soaking our feet while we're watching our favorite show on TV or whatever in the evenings can really help promote sleep, because you're soaking in, again, the most porous part of your body is the base of your feet, and you're soaking in Epsom salts with magnesium. Giving yourself a foot massage, and then having no electronics in your room, which is difficult for many of us who don't have a home phone anymore. All right. So benefits of meditation. How many people here, just raise your hand if you meditate? Awesome. And even if you have never meditated, I am sure that you have, because one conscious breath qualifies for meditation. So if anyone asks you if you've ever meditated and you don't have a regular daily practice, you can say, yes, I have, if you've ever taken one deep conscious breath. So benefits of meditation: reduce stress, controls anxiety, promotes emotional health and balance, enhances self-awareness, lengthens attention span, reduces age-related memory loss, improves sleep and helps prep for rest. It can control pain, physical and mental, and it can help with recovery, addiction of any kind. It also helps to decrease blood pressure, reduces strain on the heart and arteries over time. Right, so many benefits are for something that's free and really takes just a couple of minutes a day. We can all afford a couple of minutes a day. So I'm going to skip through this slide pretty quickly because I want to take you through a breathing exercise before we end. But really, it's meditation. A lot of people get freaked out by it because they think of like a Buddha or a Zen master sitting in a position that doesn't look comfortable for hours, days at a time. Meditation is really focusing on one thing. I do many guided meditations for corporations. That's been a big thing for the last couple of months, where I will guide through Zoom, guide entire groups of people through meditation. So guided is so easy to find on YouTube. If you're doing it personally, if you want to do it as a group, you can do it virtually, where you don't even have to figure out what you have to do. You just have to listen to a person talking. All right, so I'm going to see if there's any questions before I get into a little bit of breath work. Oh, okay, favorite apps. So Calm is a great app if you want to listen to meditations. YouTube, I love, it's my favorite. I think there's one called Just Breathe. That's pretty good. And you know, if anyone's interested, I can send you, we have a whole list that we give to people. I am so used to YouTube for everything that's really what I use. But you can put an app on your phone. Calm is my favorite. That's the one that I started with. Let me just see. I know there's another question. Okay. Thank you, Lori. Okay. So breathing, just breathe. I'm going to take you through a couple of breath exercises so that you, if you have not done this before, that you get an idea of how easy this is and how important this is. So the science behind breathing, when people used to say to me, Krista, just take a deep breath, or, you know, just breathe. I used to get so irritated. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm breathing all day. Like, what does that mean? And when I got into my work and into my schooling, I realized that breath work and just breathe is critical for what I explained earlier, the emotional regulation system. And here's why. You have a diaphragm that's located right underneath your rib cage. And when you take in a nice deep breath, that diaphragm pushes down on the adrenal glands, giving it a beautiful feel-good massage, just saying you don't have to produce all of that cortisol and adrenaline, that you can relax, things are going to be okay. So I do deep breathing 3 times a day for about 2 minutes each time. And I put a reminder in my phone, on my calendar, 3 times a day that says, just breathe. All right, so I know I had a question before. Let me check the chat before I take you through. Okay, a list of meditation slides. Sure, no problem. I will send. Okay, so I like to put one hand on my belly and another hand on my chest. What's important about this hand is that I feel a connection to my skin usually. And I can feel the warmth of my skin, which is, believe it or not, is very calming. It's a sense of touch. And so it calms the adrenal glands. Hand on my belly, because we often don't breathe through our belly. We often breathe with just our chest or our upper chest. And expanding the belly on breath is really important. Like I said, we have to allow that diaphragm to be able to go up and down. And when we exhale, the diaphragm releases. So if you want to join me, I like to put both feet on the floor just to keep myself stable when I'm breathing or doing any kind of meditation. So both feet on the floor, hand on belly, hand on chest. And you can put just bring your eyes to a soft gaze on your table, or begin to shut your eyes if you feel stable. And just notice where your breath is right now with no judgment at all. Just notice if the breath is higher up in the chest, if it's really shallow, or if it's deep, and it's always deep, which isn't typical for most people. And then I want you to begin to do what we call a 3-part breath in yoga. And it's really just expanding and being conscious of your breath. So expanding your belly, your rib cage, all the way up to the collarbones, holding your breath for just a second, and then releasing collarbones, knitting in rib cage, pulling navel right into spine. And again, holding for just a second. The trick is that you feel, especially on the exhale, that need to inhale and noticing that need. And then again, repeating the 3-part breath. So just follow my voice. All right, so we're going to begin taking in just one nice big deep breath and a big exhale. And on the inhale, expanding the belly, expanding the chest, all the way up to the collarbone, holding for just a second, and then releasing collarbone, knitting in the rib cage, and really pulling that navel in toward the spine, holding for just a second, and inhaling again. Belly expansion, chest expansion, all the way up to collarbone, and hold. And release collarbone, pulling in the rib cage, and really pulling in the navel. And now I just want you to do 2 more of these just on your own. And then return to normal breath when you're done. Eyes can still be at a soft gaze or looking down. And now I want you to just notice what's happening inside your body. So if you notice, like, what does your heartbeat feel like? Is it faster or slower than it was before? Are you breathing faster or slower? Do your stress levels feel higher or lower? And without judgment at all, just knowing that you've done some beautiful work on your stress system, on that emotional regulation system, just simply through breathing. So that's one simple breath. We teach many kinds of breath. We also teach many kinds of meditation, including something called Yoga Nidra, which I highly recommend. And Yoga Nidra basically is a meditation that people do laying down. They just listen to a guided meditation, and basically you are able to integrate all of your stress. And Yoga Nidra gives you 4 times the energy of regular sleep. So if you were to do a Yoga Nidra meditation for 30 minutes, it really is equal to about 2 hours of energy. So when you're done, you feel balanced and relaxed, and you have a lot of energy to be able to accomplish what you need to do. There's also Yoga Nidra for sleep. Yeah, Chris, Nidra is awesome. Breathing fixes everything, period. Yes, absolutely. All right. So let's see. I think this ends the presentation. Just reminding you that one conscious breath in and out is considered a meditation, right? So I want you all to be well and safe and take good care. And I'm here if you have questions, if anyone has any questions.
Krista, this Mike, that was amazing. You're a wonderful speaker, and your content is just wonderful. So
thanks, Mike.
I would those that were not on missed out, because this was great, and even if for like myself, I'm surrounded by people that are in this field, that just listening to you and kind of get grounded back to doing more of this is an important thing. So I watch my daughter Rachel do this, but yet I don't do enough of it myself.
Yeah.
and it's so good. It's meditation is wonderful. So I would love to, if you can share back even through a post on the chamber site. I'm wondering if this presentation can be shared on the chamber site just as a way to, I'm not sure where, maybe you could be one of the
I did
speakers.
record it, so we can
Yeah.
share it.
Okay. Yeah, because this is just wonderful. I appreciate that. And I'm just going to open it up if anybody has any questions.
Thanks, Mike.
Krista, do you take personal clients?
Yes. Diane, we do.
Okay.
Yep, and I take personal clients also. I have my own practice that I do outside of work, but corporate fitness and health also will take personal clients. So yes.
Can you give us your contact on the chat?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Krista, what I appreciate about you is that you're so well-rounded. You really have taken so many aspects of wellness that you look at a whole body wellness, which I appreciate very much.
Thanks, Mary Ellen. Yeah, I think that most of us find our passion when something happens to us personally. And I grew up just with a lot of illness and knew there had to be a better way, and went on my journey and spent all my money on education so that I could figure out how to live a happy, healthy life. And it's been awesome. I live it. I love it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We see it.
Thank you.
We hear it. You have such a soothing voice. You should create your own apps.
Thank you.
Serious, or really serious. You should have your own series of apps.
Thank you. Well, if you guys ever want to do, if the group ever wants to do meditation or yoga nidra, I'm your person. So I'd be happy to do it for the chamber.
That'd be great. Any other questions?
I'm just answering something in the chat right now. Does Yoga Nidra have an app? You can probably find Yoga Nidra on YouTube, although it tends to be a little bit of a liability. So you really have to make sure when people are doing Yoga Nidra that they are not driving. It really puts you in what we call a hypnagogic state. So hypnagogic means that you can fall in and out of consciousness, like from consciousness to subconsciousness to sleep. And especially if you're sleep deprived, it can put you to sleep, which is not the goal. The goal is to keep you in that kind of mid-wake. But, if there is an app out there, I love a person by the name of Jennifer Reese, and I found her through Kripalu, and she sells some Yoga Nidra meditations that you can purchase and listen to. But most yoga studios will offer Yoga Nidra, and we offer Yoga Nidra. So, and we do recordings as well. People buy recordings from us. So if anybody is interested in that, let us know.
Yep. Excellent.
All right, everyone. Well, this has been such a pleasure. I love the chamber so much. And
Thank you.
like I said, thank you. If you have any desire, to hold Yoga Nidra or any meditation or anything, just let me know. I'm happy to do it for the group.
Thank you, Krista.
Thank you, Krista.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking. I hope you
Krista, I
guys
have
stay safe and healthy. Yeah.
I have one other question for you from a business perspective. So, for giving your time today, what type of clients are you looking for right now from corporate health and fitness?
So we typically work with small to medium-sized businesses, large businesses as well. We do a lot of blue-collar companies and corporations, but mainly in the aerospace industry, Right now we have a lot of good relationships with insurance companies. So like Connecticut is one of our clients. We work with Cigna, and they basically hire us to do some of the work for their businesses. So business, and we do personal as well. So if somebody were to say to us, listen, I want some health coaching, we can certainly do that. But typically, machine companies, any companies that produce parts, and then health and wellness areas like brokers, insurance brokers, those really are our best contacts because they just point us in the right direction. So I'd love to have a contact with United Health. If anybody knew anybody in United Health to get us in there, that would be awesome.
All right, thanks for sharing that. Let's see what we can do from the chamber, your chamber peers. Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, Mary Ellen, anything else you want to add from the chamber? And Krista, again, thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm just so relaxed right now. I don't really have any more announcements. Just we appreciate your support. Thank you. It's been a long haul for all of us, and so many of you have been to all these things. Mike, you've been great, leading 3 meetings a week some of the weeks while dealing with your own business issues. So we're so blessed. We just have amazing leaders and members, and I just want to say thank you to all of you today.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks to the chamber team again for being so amazing and having wonderful members like Krista and everybody that's on. So hope to see some of you tomorrow morning to support Steve, and then again on Wednesday. So
Awesome.
I'm going to go continue meditating.
Yeah.
Have an awesome beach day, Mike. And Krista, thanks for a great session today. That was great.
Thanks.